It's and welcome back to my channel for another video, and today I'm going to be sharing my 2023 September plan with me for my shop's theme. If you don't know, I always have two themes, and this one is my secondary journal that I use as a reference just to make it for fun basically. And I'm using a notebook from Amazon. I will link it in the description box down below, as I always do with all of my supplies as well. I'm gonna use my Faber Castel Pitt artist pens for all of the drawings, and then my Uniball eye pens for all of the more like line work. And then for my colors, I chose to go with a yellow, orange, and red color scheme for this autumn vibes. So my theme is crystals, and I was a little bit out of theme ideas, so I went with something really simple for September. And I'm really sorry for sharing this one a little bit late, but hopefully you can still use it since they are fall colors for another month. I have been struggling a little bit with editing, but I'm slowly getting back into it, and I'm sharing today my September spreads. Basically, for my cover page, I decided to have this hand that is kind of like open and then having some crystals floating off of it, just kind of like giving magical vibes, but it's the only reference that I have of magic in this theme. I just didn't know what I wanted to do, and I did not want to just have the crystals just like floating around, so I wanted to have it have a little bit more of a purpose. So basically I just drew all of the crystals. I kept the shapes pretty simple and pretty big, and then I just drew some sparkles around it, and with the orange dual brush marker from Tombow, I did the lettering at the bottom for September, and then I outlined the letters with a black pen to do some shadows from the letters, and that is basically all for this spread. Moving on to my next page, and this one is my monthly calendar, and I kept the design pretty simple for this one as well. I just have in the center the really big calendar. All days are 5x5 dot grid spaces, and then I filled in the spots for the days that aren't technically in the month to have the full on calendar basically. And then on top of that, at the top, I added a too tall header that I will later on fill in yellow, just to have a header for adding the days of the month. And then in yellow, I added a dot for each day inside of the calendar to add the dates. And that is the main core of this page. once I was done with the calendar, I started by drawing some of the crystals around, and I really didn't make any crazy shapes or anything. I just searched up on Pinterest and kind of looked at the common shapes. So usually they are pretty long, and then with lines in the middle, kind of giving it some reflections and having multiple sides to have this crystal effect. And the great thing about crystals is that they don't need to be perfect or identical, they can just be unique, and it works really well. So it's a really simple doodle to do, and I just drew some all over. And to change things up a little bit, I also drew some on the side of the calendar on the right page, kind of like attached to the side. Also, really sorry for the camera shaking. I really have no idea what happened to this clip. It's really weird, but it's the only one that had this weird issue with it. And basically, once all of these crystals were made, I just added the title to the page, which I just added September in lettering, and I tried this kind of like elegant lettering. I don't know if it has a specific name, but basically there's just like extra stuff at the beginning and end of all of the downstrokes, and it's just kind of more fancy looking. And then I just added in red here a to-do section, and then underneath it I have a goals section, which is 7 dot grid spaces wide by 14 tall. And then all I did after that is just coloring in all of the crystals, but nothing more. So before we go any further in this video, this is my Etsy shop. I draw all of my visual pages in a digital format, and then I make PDF versions so you can get them yourself. You can have all of the pages that I've made in the past year and a half all at home. You can print them yourself, or you can use them digitally on an iPad. I have so many themes available, and I'm always adding more. I have the pages from today that are included, and also many past themes, as well as undated, which are the ones I'm showing now. All of them aren't dated, so you basically just have the pages that can be used for any month. And then these are the September pages for this year. I just drew the same ones that I have in this theme. Everything is colored for the first one, and then you have the black and white version, so you can color them yourself. And then obviously there's a undated version, so you can actually use them for any month, and it is very useful since I'm sharing this video a little late and September has already begun. And also you have access to my last year's pages for September which was apple pie theme, and I really love these pages. They're some of my favorites, so I just wanted to highlight them, but I'm gonna let you with the rest of this video. Check out the link in the description box if you are interested. So after the calendar, I have the master to-do list for the entire month. I usually have one of these in every single one of my monthly spreads just because I love having a place to write any random to-dos and just to have everything in one place so it's easier to deal with and to organize. So basically what I did is just to have outline 1 out of 2 lines in yellow, and they go all across the page since the list is as wide as the page. And then on top of all of the yellow lines, I just have the one darker tall line for the sections of this master to-do list. The first column is 3 squares wide and it is for the checkbox, and then the middle part is for the tasks, and then from the end of the tracker I have the due date, and that is 4 dot gray spaces wide, and then at the top I just added the master to-do list title, some crystals, and that is basically all for this page. I just added the headings, but other than that it is all done. It's a really simple and quick spreads to make, but it can actually help you a lot to manage your everyday to-dos. Next, I'm going to be moving into the tracker portion for this setup, and I have the habits tracker, and for this one I basically just have all of the mini calendar shapes for every single one of the habits, and I have 9 of them, so I just drew those out, and they are separated by 2 dot grid spaces in the middle and between each, and then there's 2 in between each on top of each other, not like including the header, so from the header there's 2 on top. Hopefully that made sense. And then I just added a 1 dot grid tall header for each of them, and I just did a gradient with red in the middle and then orange and then yellow. I thought it would be really funny to have this effect. And then at the top of the spread I just drew out some crystals, just keeping up with all of the kind of same shapes that I've been using all around, and then I just have the space left for the title in the middle. Once all of the crystals were colored, I just added the title in the middle using the same font I used for the calendar spread before, and then just some cursive for the tracker portion. It was a little bit tedious to draw out these titles, but it's also changing up from what I usually do. And if you want to see more bullet journals content, you can also check out my Instagram and my TikTok. I do post daily on there, so if you are interested, you can check out these. They are in the description box down below. For this next page, I'm going to be making a classic spread of any bullet journal, and it is the mood tracker. If you're not familiar with what a mood tracker is, it's basically a way to track your mood on a daily basis. You basically just have a place to put in your mood, whether it be through choosing a color, or some of them just have writing down or rating your day. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but for this one I decided to keep it really simple and just to have giant crystals, with each sections being for one day of the month. I did struggle a little bit to have enough for 30 days, but I managed to do it with using 5 different crystals, and they all have all of the separate kind of like sequin pattern. And then I basically just had all of the spots available that can be colored in with the moods. And then on the left bottom corner, I just have the key part, which is basically the place to choose either your rating or your color coding system for the tracker. And then I just added the title, still using the same lettering style as I did before. I also colored in the title in red just to have a pop of color, but I wanted to keep it really simple because once all of the crystals will be colored, it will be a really busy spread. And the last thing I needed was just to number all of these spots with the different days of the month. For my very last tracker, I have a water tracker, which for me is always a must in any bullet journal, just because drinking water is so important, and it's a good reminder to actually do it every single day and to keep yourself hydrated. And if you have a specific goal that you want to achieve every day for your hydration goal, it's also a good way to keep up with that and to see actually how much water you're getting every day. I just kept the layout pretty simple. I just have a 31 dot grid spaces tall box by as wide as the page, and then I have a one dot grid wide border all around on top and on the left side. The left side is for adding the dates, and I have one dot grid per day of the month, and I basically just use each spot to write to color in how much water I get, and then I used some orange marker to draw out some increments of water on the top part of the tracker. And then all I needed was to add my title And for this one, I decided to go with a more rounded lettering. I don't know why I changed from what I was using, but I decided to change things up a little bit, and I just did that and colored in all of the crystals. Finally, for my final page, I'm making a weekly spread, and I actually made one with a lot of different things onto 2 pages, so you can actually track so many things with only this weekly spread on the right side or the right page. I just have all the days of the week, so I have 7 squares for each one of the days. They are all 7 by 12 dot grid spaces, and then on the first row I just added the titles going all across each, and then on the 2 opposite corners, so the top left one and the bottom right, I just left them blank. The bottom one is going to be a note section, and then the top one is just for some drawings. And then I'm making a event section, which is 8 by 21 dot grid spaces with 1 wide for the titles of each day of the month, each day of the week. And then at the top I just have the mini calendar, and then the other part of the page, which is pretty much the other half, I have a 16 dot grid spaces wide to-do list at the top, which is the red line, and then underneath it I have the same with a meal tracker, and I basically have some lines for each days of the week with the letters for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you can basically track so many things on here and keep track of a full week, so you can always be on track with everything and just be aware of everything going on. So hopefully this weekly spread will be helpful for you. I really try to have many different layouts and to play around with a bunch of different ones. But that is basically it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more, definitely subscribe for more. Tell me in the comment what you think of this video. Also leave me any theme ideas or any thoughts or comments in the comments. I always try to read and respond to as many comments as I can. And if you have any future video requests, please leave them down below as well. Don't forget to check out my shop. It is always in the description box down below. You can go get yourself the same pages that I make here, but not have to make them yourself. And also check out all of my other socials. I'm more active on there. And that is basically it. I will just have the final flip through now for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also turn on the post notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload next. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!